Okay, well, frankly, this episode is pretty much the series in a nutshell. We need to beat PSG at home, and they have a 3-goal advantage. If they don't, we can't win the Champions League. And if we can't win the Champions League, then we haven't fulfilled the second part of the series. We've won the Prem, we wanted to win the Champions League. And so far, I don't know. We lost to Man United. I played a fairly rotated side this game. It was still a really good game, though. We lost 5-3, though. Holland had a goal, Sola had a goal, and then he had another goal in the 94th minute to make the game look closer than it actually was, but it really kind of wasn't. Against West Ham, we drew 2-2. Holland a goal, Ricci a goal. I wanted to play my best squad against PSG, and yesterday Ethan Laird tweaked hamstring, so he's out. So, that's my own fault, not having... I've Gremio. And Gremio's a quality backup. He's a quality player. I have faith in him. I have to have faith in him. I don't have any other choice. But we got Bari in goal, Adamarola, Zagadou, Tizier, and Gremio as the defensive back four. Stockbridge, Ricci, and Tonali as the midfielders. Jair as the attacking midfielders. Sola and Doku up top as the strikers. And Lovekov is still out. I'll put him on the bench just as a backup. One of the best teams money can buy. Donnarumma bangs it forward. Moukoko ends up with it. Oh, Bari, a nice save. Rolls it out to Zagadou. Tonali. I was hoping for a quick counterattack. We got that. We're on the attack. The only thing that's happened is Ricci's picked up a yellow card. Fati off the throw-in. Back to Hakimi. Moukoko takes the shot off the post. Hakimi on the throw-in again. Bernardo. Bellingham. Fati heads it down to Macchiati. Back and forth. Jair ends up with it. Doku up to Sola. Gets it in. Doku's there, but Donnarumma, a very nice save. Donnarumma banks it forward again. Headed down. Ricci, Tonali, Doku. For Sola, got by the defenders, and he puts it away. Well done, Sola. 27th goal of the season for the youngster. He's been a great pickup. He was on the Real Madrid B squad and wasn't getting any game time. And we paid a good fee. We paid a princely sum for him, if I remember correctly. Hakimi on the throw-in. Marquinhos back to Hakimi. Zagadou intercepts that. Doku back to Zagadou. All the way back to Bari. Bari sends it forward. Sola gets it. No, Kimpembe ends up with it. Bernardo. Bellingham. Hakimi all alone on the right. Cuts it inside. Centers it. Moukoko takes the shot, but he pushes it high and left. I want to check something out here real quick. The only thing in our favor is PSG has a few players having a subpar game. We've had 5 shots, 3 in target. They've had 6 and 3. We've got the one Sola goal in the 18th minute. Other than that, it's been a very even game, and we need to pick it up in the second half. Moukoko, Ansu Fati on the left. Holds it up. Oh, back and forth. Betancourt. Oh, nice save by Bari. Tizier gets the ball on the rollout. Oh, he gives the ball away. What the hell was that? Who was that? Tizier tried sending it out, and it ended up at Hakimi's foot somehow. Stockbridge heads the ball away. Okay. We swap Gurgis out for Tizier. We're going to take Jair off and bring on Esposito. We got to go to the very attacking. I need 2 goals. Hakimi to Bernardo. Esposito loses the ball. Zagadou gets it back. Esposito to Stockbridge. Zagadou over to Gurgaras. Esposito. Tonali up into space for Sola. Gets it to Adamarola. Adamarola to Stockbridge. Stockbridge to Ricci. Ricci to Tonali. Takes the shot. I can't tell if Donnarumma saved that or if it was a woodwork hit. Doku sends it in. Grigoras over the crossbar. Come on, guys. 20 minutes. It's been a very even game so far. Donnarumma to Marquinhos. Donnarumma. Kimpembe. Out to Mendes. Mendes is dispossessed by Tonali. Tonali crosses it in. Tried getting it to Sola, but it was a weak cross. Donnarumma was right there. Marquinhos. Fati gives it away to Stockbridge. Doku. Stockbridge out to Adamarola. Adamarola to Stockbridge. Back to Adamarola. Gets it into Sola. Esposito's there. We're 1 goal down with 12 minutes left. Come on. Come on. Extra time. 15 shots, 9 on target. They had 14 and 9. Barre had a fabulous game. Doku had a good game. Sola had a great game. Everybody was 6.9 or better. Gremiel was solid. That's the game. That's the save. It's annoying and frustrating on several levels. I think at the end of the day, I have only myself to blame. I think what I said stands. There's no reason to play out the rest of the games. I mean, we've already won the Prem. If we don't win the Prem, it's not a huge deal. At the same time, I don't know. Let me see something here real quick. Yeah, we're only maybe 10 minutes into this video. So you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play out the rest of the season. And we'll do an end-of-season review. Because, frankly, what's the point? You know, if I stop to play Chelsea or Leicester or something like that, it's just, you know, it's a limited save. It's the last season to save. The goals of the save were to win the Premier League and win some sort of trophy. And all we've done is win the Community Shield twice. And that is frustrating. So, you know what? We'll be back in just a bit. Well, the season is officially over. We ended it in style. I finished late last night. It was in no mood to record. Frankly, I was too tired to record. Didn't want to be falling asleep in the middle of it. Editing that out's kind of hard. I've done it in the past. I don't know that you've noticed. Probably have. But we did finish the season out in style with a 5-0 victory against West Brom after losing to PSG on aggregate. We beat Brentford 2-0. We drew with Watford 3-3. We beat Chelsea 1-0. We beat Leicester 5-2. Tottenham we beat 1-0. Aston Villa we beat 3-1. Man City we beat 2-1, but frankly this was an FM job. We got an own goal from Dodo in the 95th minute on a cross for us to eke out the victory. But somewhere around Aston Villa was when we clinched first place on 88 points. United's on 74. Arsenal's on 73. Man City is on 70. West Ham is at 69. Chelsea's at 62. Liverpool is at 67. And then Brighton was on the outside looking in at 60. Birmingham, Norwich, and West Brom are going down. We relegated West Brom on the last day. I believe had they drawn, they would have been on 32. They needed to win in order to beat Leicester. Leicester barely escaped relegation. We had our youth intake. It wasn't the best. Our best option was a 3.5-star center. The one thing that was nice about the youth intake is that we got players from everywhere, including a couple of Brazilians and one from Argentina. But the vast majority of them were 2- to 3-star players. And I signed a bunch of them just because, I mean, my plan is to keep playing this offline as a personal save. I want to win the Champions League one of these days. So, initial budgets for next year, $178 million in the transfer budget. Payroll is $3.2 million. That's a $400,000 bump. I've been signing a couple of players that were near the end of their contracts to new contracts. I've been signing players who were wanted by other teams to new contracts. So our wage budget is going to balloon next season. It's already set at 3.3. So some of that transfer market money is going to be going to the payroll for sure. Joseba Sola led us with 32 goals. Jeremy Doku had a 7.78 rating and 16 assists. Joel Tizier, best pass completion at 98%. Doku, 11 Player of the Match awards. Ricci, 10 yellow cards. Our 99 goals scored were the best in the league. Our 37 goals allowed were 4th best. Our 55 yellow cards were 10th worst. I swear the last 10 games of this season was when we got the most of these. We were fined 3 times for excessive yellow cards. And our Average attendance 30,173 because we had the new addition built. Was 6th worst, but that's because that is also the 6th smallest stadium. Klopp was fired by City. That is interesting. City finished 4th, 18 points behind, and they fired Klopp. The other interesting thing about this is I caught this in a news item. Pep Guardiola is coaching in China now at SH Shenhua, and they're currently in 10th place. Doku claims Player of the Year. He wins English Player of the Year. Liao Scoop's English Premier Division top goal scorer. He was 3 points ahead of Sola. 3 goals ahead of Sola. I got Head Coach of the Year. My general manager is pleased for me. 8 of my players were selected in the English Premier Division Team of the Year. Barre, Grigaras, Zagadou, Laird, Tonali, Ricci, Doku, and Sola. That speaks volumes as to how good our squad is. End of season review. The transfer details. Valdez is a C, Gremio is a B. Qualified for the European Cup, finished 1st. Biggest win was the 6-1 against Lille. Match to remember was the 5-0 against Madrid. Goal of the season was Stockbridge's goal against Arsenal, the one from distance. Club reputation is 4.5 stars. Current is 4.5 stars. Annual revenue was up. Broadcast revenue was down. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but okay. And then match day and commercial retail was down just a little bit. That kind of sort of makes sense because we had fewer fans at the beginning of the season who were buying less stuff. Joseba Sola's 32 goals. Joseba Sola's overall 32 goals in the season broke a Crystal Palace record. Doku's 11 assists broke a Crystal Palace record. Take a look at the club here. Take a look at the team here. Let me auto-size this real quick. Oh, the one thing I did want to point out was because we already had the season in the bag, so to speak. I tend to do this in a lot of my saves. When we're in a position where there's really nothing at stake, the last game of the season, I play a very rotated side. I'll pull this up here real quick. So we had Jordan Clark and Sebastian Esposito starting up top. Arda Güler at the advanced midfielder. Leo Gianfrancisco and Ben Alexander, who is a 17-year-old youth player with a decent amount of potential, starting at midfield. And he had 1 assist that game. Crystal Lovkov, Miguel Barreto, who is another young player with some potential, started at defensive center back and did pretty okay. He had a 7.0. Juan Pablo Valdez, Leo Gremio, and Russell Smith, who is probably my 3rd-string keeper, but he did fairly well too. Admittedly, he didn't have a lot to worry about when facing West Brom because they only had 10 shots, 6 on target. We had 24 and 13, but everybody did a solid job. Let me take out the guys on loan here. Swartz got the guys out on loan, unavailable. So Mehmet Barre, my young goalkeeper, who has really improved, although his star rating hasn't gone up. I think there's a thing this year with the star ratings where they don't really match what the player's ability is. As an example, Ricci and Stockbridge are very close together in terms of ability and that, but yet Ricci's a 3-star guy and Stockbridge is a 4-star guy. Not that I'm going to complain about Stockbridge being a 4-star guy, but I would expect Ricci to be a 4-star guy as well. But anyhow, Mehmet Barre led us with 41 starts, had a solid season for us. Allowed 40 goals all season, 15 clean sheets, 16 saves, tips, 17, 18. Oh, wait a minute. I got to go down here. 45 goals allowed, 15 clean sheets, 19 saves, tips, 60 saves paried, 118 saves held. No player of the matches, no yellow cards, no red cards, but he finished on a 7.13 rating. And for a 19-year-old keeper who made some very good saves this year, including some very interesting not saves, that's a really good season for us. I think putting the team on his shoulders this season was an iffy proposition, and he responded really well. Jair started 40 games, one off the bench, 13 goals, 13 assists, 2 players of the match. Then Axel Zagadou, who got a new 2-year contract. He's getting older, but he's still a productive member of the squad. He's our team captain. He's doing quite well. 38 appearances, 4 off the bench, 5 goals, 2 assists, 3 players of the match. Sandro Tonali, a solid season, 36 appearances, 6 off the bench, 6 goals, 5 assists. Valentin Grigoras, who split time with Tizier on the back line with Zagadou, 36 appearances, 2 off the bench, 5 goals, 2 players of the match. Ethan Laird, again, double-digit assists from the right back position, 36 appearances, 1 off the bench, 11 assists, 4 players of the match. Jeremy Doku had a solid season. He really improved over last year, and this is the type of season I would expect him to have going forward. Maybe not as many goals or assists, but double digits in both, high double digits in both. You know, if he got 20 goals and 12 assists next season, I'd be okay with that. But this season, in 35 appearances, 5 off the bench, he got 28 goals, 16 assists, and 11 players of the match. Joseba Solo, who is very close to being a 5-star player, 35 appearances, 3 off the bench, 32 goals, 15 assists, 5 players of the match. Samuel Ricci, another solid all-around performance, 34 appearances, 6 off the bench, 6 goals, 7 assists, 3 players of the match. Andy Stockbridge, another solid season, 29 appearances, 4 off the bench, 4 goals, 5 assists, 2 players of the match. Joel Tizier had a solid season in 26 appearances, 7 off the bench. Didn't have any goals or assists, but again was a solid player. Teo Adamarola got the majority of the starts at the defensive left back position. 23 appearances, 3 off the bench, 6 assists. Hannibal starting up top in the advanced midfield position, and he got some starts at midfield as well. 20 appearances, 9 off the bench, 4 goals, 6 assists. Hristo Lovkov started when Teo Adamarola didn't. 15 appearances, 3 off the bench, 1 assist. Esposito was, I would call him an impact sub. 14 starts, 10 off the bench, 7 goals, 3 assists. If he got more playing time, those numbers would have gone up, but he's kind of being phased out. He should be here next season unless a team comes in and makes an offer for him. Leo Jin, in mostly relief appearances. He did start 12 games, but he came off the bench 11 times, 5 assists. That's a solid campaign for him. Jordan Clark, I want to get him more playing time. I need to get him more playing time. He will be a solid backup. He was probably our 4th striker option at the moment. I would like to make him our 3rd striker option. In 12 appearances, 9 off the bench, he had 9 goals, 1 assist, 1 player of the match. Juan Pablo Valdez, in limited starts and appearances off the bench, had 1 goal, but he had 2 players in the match. His defensive work has been absolutely top-notch. Gil Gremio came on at the January transfer window, was okay, 8 appearances, 3 off the bench, 6.79 rating. Iturbe got 8 starts when Bari went out injured, had 1 player of the match. Rasmus Holland did okay as the 3rd striker. He was Doku's primary backup. He had 6 starts, 2 assists. He had 6 starts, 2 off the bench, 3 goals, 2 assists, and a 7.15 rating. Arda Guler got 5 starts to the advanced midfield position, got 2 goals. He'll probably be leaving, though, at 23 years old, 2-star current ability, 2-star potential ability. He's not really a bench player for the squad. Francisco, 4 appearances, 3 off the bench, 1 goal, 3 assists. He's kind of in the same position Gula is. Cody DeWinter was the impact sub. Well, I don't even call him an impact. He only had 1 assist. We had 3 starts and 13 appearances off the bench. And then Ben Alexander, my young midfielder with a decent amount of potential, got 1 assist in his only start of the game. Contract-wise, Iturbe's leaving. He's already signed a contract with Bayern. Stephen Williams is leaving. Connie de Winter is going to stay this year, but I'm probably going to move Arguler and Russell Smith. Barry Manning, you know, all these 1-star guys that just aren't really going to improve. The only one I'll probably keep is Dennis Loyo. Well, let me rephrase that. I didn't look at their age. If they're a youth player, I'll keep them for another couple years. But guys like Barry Mealing and Russell Smith, Arda Guler, I'll be moving them on. Rasmus Holland, no, he's here to stay. And after that, it's just going to be a matter of filling in the depth. Unless there's a player who comes in and absolutely blows away anyone else I have in that position. And I really don't think that's possible. The lineup next year is going to look very much like this. It's going to be Bari in goal, Lovkov, Grigoras, Tizier, and Laird as the defensive back 4, Leo Jin, Stockbridge, and Tonali as the midfielders, Jair as the attack midfielder, Sola and Doku up top as the strikers. Players like Ricci, Esposito, Dan Axel Zagadou will be part of this rotation, as will Valdez. Adamarola, I think I'm going to move. If we compare Lovkov and Adamarola is the better player, but he's also older. Lovkov is 22 years old. and still has some more he can do. Attributes-wise, it's really kind of a push depending on what you're looking at, but Adam Roll is a better technical player, so they could be sharing the position. Left back is probably the one position I would look to improve. I would also want to look for a quality defensive backup for when Ethan Laird goes out or when he's on international duty. Grumio is a solid backup, but I wouldn't count on him to be a full-time starter. Same with Esposito. Same with Hannibal. Turbe's leaving. He's going, I said Bayern. Yeah, he's going FC Bayern. Okay, I thought it was Bayer. So I need a backup keeper. Juan Pablo Valdez, Jason Clark are going to be capable backups and starters. And then after that, it's the youngsters who will be filling in next season as well. You know, your Ben Alexanders, your Manuel Garbas, your Zenish Lojos, who will be going out on loan to get some first-team playing time. Miguel Barreto is a defensive center back with a decent amount of potential as well. Nikolai Broom was probably our best youth intake player this season, a defensive right back, 15 years old. He's got some weaknesses in his game, but, you know, attributes like these would get you starts in a ton of lower leagues. So he's definitely got room to improve. But what we are going to do now is this. We're going to save the game as Crystal Palace as this. And then I need to save the game again as... So looking back at the transfer window, just off the top of my head, I'm looking at players I know that we got a really good deal on. Francisco is definitely one of those players. We got it from the Atletico Madrid B squad for £240,000. He has definitely been a contributor. Jaime Seone was definitely a contributor. Alte Bayender was definitely a contributor. We got him from Fenerbahce for 8.5. I was kind of expecting him to be the goalkeeper for the entire season until Manchester City came in and swooped him away from us. Mateta was very good for us. He was already part of Palace when the save starts. He has a clause in his loan agreement that says if he starts more than 10 games or 12 games, something like that, you have to sign him for $13.25 million. Dan Axel Zagadou, we got on a free from Borussia Dortmund. The guy's been here since almost the beginning. He's turned into a... you know what? Can I pull that up? Here. I think I can. Actually, you know what? We got him on a free. He's worth 64 to 77 million now. I could probably get more for him if I wanted to. He got his first international cap with us. It says he's injury prone, but he never really missed a lot of games injured. Came here, became an immediate starter, and George wants outside. So I'm going to pause this here and let George out. It snowed last night here, and George, being a cold weather herding dog, absolutely loves it. So he is out back rolling around in the ground right now, as only a 110-pound dog can. I would say for Dan Axel Zagadou is the longest tenured player that I've brought in who's still on the club. And he's been an excellent pickup. He's starting to drop off a little bit physically. I just signed him to a new 2-year contract. But the intent is he is going to be a rotational player next season. Blanco was pretty good for us. Pellegrini was great for us. We got him for $1.1 million and moved him for 24. Verone wasn't bad. I misused him. Stockbridge as well. I forgot we got him this year. Stockbridge has turned into a very good player. He has 8 caps for England now, 26 under 21 caps, 1 under 21 goal. He's a very good Mazzala and ball-winning midfielder and deep line playmaker. He's probably the best $7.5 million I spent on this save. But he's been wanted for a couple years now. I wouldn't be surprised if Yari Verscharen was a misstep. We got him for $7 million because I needed depth on the wings, and he just never really panned out. Issahaku Abdul Fatu is kind of everybody's dark horse player this year. The thing that really hurt me with him is that he couldn't qualify for a youth permit. Dnipro picked him up for £20,000. I had to pay $27.5 million for him because by the time I was able to get him, he had already developed into the player that he would become. I thought he would improve, and he kind of sort of did incrementally, but he never really got past that 3.5-star potential. Now, he's got 4.5-star. Well, it says 2.5-star potential here. I think this is one of those cases where I've talked about it before with a lot of players. Oh, sorry, George hair in my eye. With a lot of players at the beginning of the save when you're creating the database, FM knows what their starting point is. Their ending point is within a range, unless you're a certain player. Sometimes your upper limit is capped. Like I want to say Jude Bellingham's upper potential is capped at 180. I could be wrong with that. I know there's a few players out there who have their potential ability hard capped. Fatuwu, I want to say his potential ability is a range, somewhere between 140 and 170, maybe 150, 180. Now, the odds of him reaching that 180 are very, very low, but it's possible. In this case, I think his starting was like maybe 100, 110, and he got up to maybe 140, 145. But he was a very good player for us. He did everything I wanted him to do. He had several solid seasons for us, and now he's at Juve after they paid $70 million to get him this season. That was part of his loan deal. So he was a good pickup for us. We made a profit on almost all of our players. This was also the year Hristolovkov, Valentin Grigoras, and Joel Tizier came in. Those guys are all... Tizier is now 3-star, current 5-star potential. Grigoras is 3-star, current 5-star potential. Lovkov is 2-star, current 3-star potential, but I think it's a very high 3 stars. It's one of those cases where I suspect if I was to look at his current ability, potential ability, he would be probably... current 120s, his potential might be 140, 150. Ethan Laird we got for $5.75 million from Man United in 2024-25. He's been an absolute beast defensive right back. Doesn't score, but has double-digit assists almost every season. We picked up Xerxes this year. We picked up Esposito. We picked up Conor Gallagher. This is when we started spending a little bit of money to get some good players. The Oliver Skip experiment did not quite work. The Safonov experiment was very, very good. He was a very capable backup. Bandar left. I was kind of scrambling. That's when we signed Iturbe. Iturbe was good, but it wasn't great. And I knew if I wanted to get higher in the competitions, I would need a very capable keeper, and Safonov fit the bill. This is when Jair came in for 7.25. Hannibal came in for 8.5. Tonali came in for $32 million. He was probably the first player we paid value for, and he's been absolutely solid for us. He's one of my favorite players too. I always try and sign him every save I play, but then again, a lot of my saves are always Road to Glory saves or lower league saves. So by the time I'm able to sign him, he's either no longer available or he's so old he's not really going to contribute to the squad, and I'm not interested in paying him $300,000 a week to sit on the bench because he has past glory in his head. But at this age, at this particular point in time, he's still a very, very good player. And honestly, the money we paid to get him was the money Milan paid us to get Pietro Pellegrini. So it was kind of a wash there. Jeremy Doku came in this season. The Xerxes was here for a year and then turned around and left. Let me pull that up here real quick. Was it a year or 2 years? Joshua Xerxes. Yeah, it's right there. Because we lost... I'm clicking all over the freaking place. Xerxes. Yeah, we got him from Bayern for 15.5. We lost Pellegrini, and I wanted a replacement, and he came in and did very, very good for us. His first season had 26 goals, 3 assists, 4 players of the match, and then the next season he was injured, if I remember correctly. He had 21 appearances, 14 goals, 4 assists, 4 players of the match. I was totally expecting to keep him, and then RB Leipzig came in, made an offer for me, totally jumped at it. And I said, look, I bought you in for 15.5. You want to go to RB Leipzig for 75 million? I'm totally on board with that. At the time, I had intended Esposito to be his replacement. Pierce was getting starts for us and was doing quite well. And then the next season, we got Joseba Sola from Ibar. I keep thinking he was from the Real Madrid B team, but that was somebody else. We got Joseba Sola in, and then he started and just has absolutely grown into a beast. And then Xerxes left. We brought in Jeremy Doku. His first season here wasn't the best. His second season here was absolutely brilliant. De Winter came in. Polito came in. Leo Jin, who is a midfielder of the future, we got from Jean Book for 2.4, but he's already valued at 48 to 67 million, so call it 55. Mehdi Bari, we got from Toulouse for 4.2 million. That was a great deal. Juan Pablo Valdez, we paid a decent amount of money to America in Mexico for. And then this season was Miguel Aziz, we got on a free transfer, and Leo Gremio, we paid some money for. But this was the season where the team was pretty much set, so we didn't really need anything, and there wasn't a player out there who grabbed my attention that I was willing to pay money for. But I will say we've turned a profit almost every transfer window. The only one we didn't was 26-27. 25-26. Let's take a look at that here. Yeah, we turned a tiny profit. We spent 142. We sold 145. This was the year Xerxes left for 75. Verón left for 17. Baena left for 13. Sotolo left for 11. Joaquim Anderson left for 7. Chowdhury left for 7. Sayoni left for 5. Blanco and Wanjo and everyone else all went out. Now, a lot of that was Joshua Xerxes going to RB Leipzig for 75 million, but I'm counting it. And then on the ends, this was when we got Tonali and Safanov. Safanov is still at Hertha Berlin, and he is still having a really good season for him. Ended up on a 7.12. Hertha Berlin finished 9th in the table. They're getting closer. They're on the outside looking in. United, man. Oh, I got to do the freaking... Oh, that's not going to work, is it? So I have to go home. And then here, Man United football. Bayandar's not starting for them. Where's Bayandar at? B-A-Y. Man United FC. Says he's their starting keeper. Man United. Man United. Oh, he's on international duty. That's why he wasn't showing up. Okay, that makes sense. Is there anything else to look? Oh, yeah. I want to see who won the Champions League this year. Finals, West Ham versus PSG. So there'll be a new champion this year after Man United won it twice. That's the disappointing part of this say. We've got a good squad, but we didn't win any FA Cups. We didn't win any Carabao Cups. We won the Community Shield twice. Back-to-back champions of the Premier League. That counts for something. But the fact we couldn't win a Euro Cup or even get to the quarterfinals or anything of a cup is just annoying. I take that back. We got to the FA Cup our second season here. And it just... that grates. It really, really does. The one last thing I wanted to look at was the scouting. And the thing I wanted to do was look at the scouts themselves. I scouted mostly hot prospects, which is why I didn't get a ton of scout reports. But one of the things I always do, and I highlighted this at the beginning of the save, was how I go through and I edit the scouts. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go here instead, or we're going to go up here. Now, you can't really see it because the font's really kind of small. I've hired a couple newer scouts, and I haven't gone in and edited them. But as an example, Kevin Hunt was a 15-18. I made him my chief scout, and he is now still a 15-18. However, you have scouts like Abdul Karim, who came in as a 10 potential, or a 10 current 9 potential guy. He's now a 12 and a 10. Arthur Wolf came in at 16-18. He's now at 18-20. Hassan Al-Hakim came in at 15-14. He's now at 16-16. Frank Miniviel came in at 10 potential, or 10 current, 11 potential. He's now 17-13. Who's one more? Yeah, I looked at Bienville. Pyotr Kasparak came in at 13-14. He's now 13-17. Li Zhongmin, who was my Asian scout, found Ojin Lee for me, or Li Ojin for me. Came in at 14-15. He's now 15-17. Zelko Sukovic came in at 13-14. He's now 14-14. But he hasn't been here all that long either. And then Santarovo came in at 14-14, and he is now 15-13. That's really wild. That's the first time I've seen a player fall. It's also entirely possible he was a 13. I fat fingered the key there. But then I also have scouts now like Rui Costa and that who came in this year that I never updated. He's 18-17, but he's also a very good scout. One of the things I didn't realize at the time, and this took me by surprise, although the more I thought about it, the more I realized, yeah, that does kind of count. We have things like Christy Frick, who is a sports scientist from Australia, which means she has knowledge of that country. Maybe not as in-depth as a scout, but in some cases they do. And so sometimes you can fake your way through things by hiring, if you have a hole in your scouting network, find a sports scientist or a physio or a doctor or someone like that who has knowledge of that area. I wish I had a before and after picture because it did not look like this when we started. That was pretty much blacked out. That was pretty much blacked out. That was definitely blacked out. This is still blacked out. That's still blacked out because I didn't have any scouts there. I needed to get a scout down there this season, but our scouting network has improved so much. Now, a lot of that is due to the scouts we have. As an example, Hjellberg, who is a 16-16, is our Norwegian scout. Artem Fiddler, who is one of my Russian scouts, is my Eastern European or Russian scout. And then we've still got a bunch of guys who are working on knowledge of other countries. But a lot of the success I had this season was the fact that I really scouted my tail off. I found some good youth players for quality prices and was able to bring them in, develop them, and move them on. Or in the instances of like Tizier and Grigoras, keep them on the squad and develop them. Now, the issue with England is you need work permits. So in a lot of cases, I'm able to sign them and bring them on the club, but not get them starts and not loan them out till they're 18. It's a balancing act. I've got players like Adam Arola and probably Hristo Lovkov. Lovkov is probably the best example. I brought him in. He had played 2 seasons for his club in Bulgaria or Romania. I want to say he had an international appearance for the... Oh, I'm totally blanking on it. It's totally annoying. Yeah, he's from Bulgaria. I'll point this out here. We'll look at this real quick here. So if we look at his history, he had 2.5 seasons as a starter at September Sofia. And I know he had at least 5 to 8 under 21 caps while he was at September Sofia. I found him, liked what I saw, signed him for $200,000. September Sofia wanted the loan back. I said, sure. And he still didn't qualify for a work permit when it came to the 2025-26 season. Now, I don't know what's going on here. I think this is an issue with behind the scenes where I assigned him to Sochaux, who was one of my affiliates, and then he went to Applewell, and he still didn't qualify for a work permit, and then he went to Sochaux, played half a season there, qualified for a work permit, came back, and then he was a spot starter last year. I think had he qualified for a work permit right away, he would be my full-time starter at left back and would probably be like a 4-star guy. I think he had that potential. That's one of the reasons I signed him. But, the work permits in England will just totally screw you over. If you're trying to do a save like this, I would recommend starting in Germany maybe, if you're willing to take down Bayern, or one of the countries that doesn't have work permits. That's the one thing about doing a save in England that can really hurt you, especially if you're a guy like me who likes scouting, who likes finding youth players, who likes finding diamonds in the rough that no one else has ever found yet, and you snap them up before they can. like a Joel Tizier or a Valentin Grigoras. Grigoras is now 4-star current, 4-star, 4.5-star potential. He's 22 years old. Tizier is 21. He's 3-star current. So he's still 5-star potential. And we picked him up on a free, if I remember correctly. Yeah, we picked him up on a free. I take that back. We signed it from RFC Aboiso, and I think it was like a $650,000 thing. 650,000 pound thing. I think that. I'd have to check. But he went to Haifa for a year, had a good year. He was a spot starter here, and then we loaned him out to Rennes for a year, for half a year to get some playing time. Yeah, he was a spot starter here, and then Rennes wanted him from half a year. I wanted to get him full-team playing time, and he came back, and he's been working his way into the full-time rotation with Zagadou, Grigoras, and now Valdez. So the team's set up for the future. The question is, who is going to take them to glory? Because it wasn't me. I took them to Premier League glory. Who's going to take them to international glory? So you know what? Let's find out. Well, the board would really like me to stay. Quit my Selhurst Park posts. Jose Mourinho, Jurgen Klopp, and Thomas Lech are the front runners. I would bet Klopp gets the job, if only because of name recognition more than anything else. Go ahead and accept that. Mass exodus. Almost all of my coaches have left. That's okay. The scouting staff stays behind. So what we are going to do now is we're going to go on vacation. Holy cow, did I get better. Still can't coach in goal to save my life. Played 351 games. We won 217. We drew 49. We lost 85. 756 goals for, 478 goals against, a plus 278 goal difference. We've won 61% of our games. 2 cup wins. Those were the Community Shields. 3 Premier League wins back to back to back. Bought 73 players for 472 million. Sold 102 players for 795 million. Highest fee spent was the 55 million for Doku. The highest fee received was 75 million for Xerxes, going to RB Leipzig. Has the occasional chat with his players. I always talked to my players. Always. So we're going to go on vacation. It is now 2028. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on vacation. It is now 2028. We are going to come back June 30th of 2031. And we're going to see how the club does in the intervening 3 years. And then we'll take a look. We'll see who they moved, see who they brought in, see who they hired as a coach. We'll take a look at their records. We'll take a look and see if they won any European competitions or anything like that. And then after that, we'll do one more where we go out 7 years and see if they've had any success after that. And then pain by pain, and this was a painful season, this was a painful save, is going to come to an official end. My goals at the start of this were to win the Premier League, which we did, win the Champions League, which we didn't. And once it got to the point where it looked like winning the Champions League may not be possible, it was, we need to win some sort of cup. I am still eminently upset that we did not win anything else other than the Community Shield. And a lot of the times the teams we ran into weren't as good as us, especially when it came to the Carabao and the FA Cup. We got the FA Cup final our second season. We got beaten by a very good Liverpool team. The other times, we barely made it past the 4th round. A couple times, we didn't even make it past the 3rd round, and that was annoying. This is a fun save, though. I like Crystal Palace. They're my club. I'm not as hardcore knowledgeable about them and their history as I could be, but they're a good team. They're an interesting team, especially this season with the roster issues they have. They were a good club to take over. They were a good club to start, and I went my route of, hey, they want to develop youth players. Let's develop a world-class scouting system. Let's develop a world-class training system, and let's bring in some world-class youth players that are going to be the backbone of the squad going forward. Now, the work permit thing kind of screwed me over on that. I'd bring in young players with potential. They'd spend 2 or 3 seasons on the U16s or U23s, and then I would try and send them out on loan to clubs where they could get work permits. Sometimes they would, sometimes they wouldn't. I still think there's an issue with the stars. I know a lot of people tend to look at the stars and think he's a 5-star player. He must be a 200 potential type of guy. And I know that's not true. I know stars are based on who you have on your squad as well. But I also know in looking at my guys this season, I could have a 4-star player, I could have a 4-star current, 4-star potential player, and a 2-star current, 2.5-star potential player, and they would be 90% similar. And I don't think that 10% is enough of a difference for player A to be 2 stars better. So I don't know if it's something going on behind the scenes that will take some digging into. One of the things I can do with this skin is that current ability is visible if you want to see it. I tend to avoid that because almost every skin I've found that has current ability, potential ability, has them both listed, but this skin only has current ability listed because I don't have the editor turned on for the save. I suspect had I turned the editor on for this save, potential ability and current ability would be listed. But I'm willing to come back and load the save up at some point and say, okay, what was this player's current ability here? What was this player's current ability there? Compare the two, and maybe that'll explain the differences between them. So that said, it was another successful season for us. 3 Premier League wins back to back to back. You can't shake a stick at it. You can't sneeze at that. You can't do a lot of things at it. It's a very good accomplishment. Very few teams have done that. Like any team's done that, at least since the Premier League started back in the 90s. I'm probably wrong there, but it's literally January 1st. I was up late last night. We had a good time. Then it started snowing and things got a little bit downhill, but that's beside the point. But again, this was a very good save. I had a lot of fun doing it. I always do a palace save as part of a beta when the beta comes out, and I thought this year with the challenges they have would be a good year to do a palace save as a YouTube save, even though I'd done one in the past recently as well. So I'd be interested in your feedback below, what you think is going to happen, any predictions, of course, players moving out, maybe players they're going to bring in. See over under you think they're going to spend on the transfer market this year. I'm going to put it at this. I know we have 170 something million in the transfer budget. I think whoever they bring in as a coach, and I've been looking at the ticker going across here, they haven't hired anybody yet, is going to spend about 100 million and is going to sell about 200 million. I think players like Tizier and Grigrass and players like that are going to go out the door sooner rather than later. And a lot of them are going to go to English teams, which I'm not a huge fan of, at least this particular save. So, if you've been here since the beginning, I thank you for watching. If you came here near the middle of the end, I thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, comments, criticisms, leave those down below. I will answer those as fast as I can. My name is F. Angelico. I thank you.